like basically what I just said. Our formula is going to be for winning a Super Bowl. So that's how I feel. But it would definitely be extremely beneficial to have another week for some guys to get back. Khalif Raymond, I heard his 21-day window was open, so we may have our starting return man back. Anzalone, I believe the last report I saw was he may have a chance to play Sunday night against Minnesota. So we've got some guys who are getting close to getting back. So it would just be really nice to get another week for those guys to get back, and we can be as healthy as we can for the second round of the playoffs. And just quite simply, it's just one less game you have to play to get to the Super Bowl. So that is my thoughts on it. And it's kind of wild to say Detroit Lions or talk about the Detroit Lions and talk about realistically the Super Bowl. It's pretty wild. I'm 38 years old, and in my adult life, or even from what I can remember from sports and the Lions, this has never really been a realistic thing we could talk to. Now, as a fan, which is short for fanatic, yes, we think we're going to win the Super Bowl, but it's pretty wild that that is actually something that is being talked about, and even Vegas somewhat agrees because the Lions have, I think, the second or third best odds, or the top five in odds, which we've never had that before. So, really exciting stuff. So we'll see what happens Sunday night. Want to move on to just kind of the bowl games, the 12 team playoff, and I have just a couple teams that I want to talk about. Not in depth, just kind of to hit on. And I saw online, as I'm sure everyone else did too, on Twitter and whatnot, that of just the first round games and how they were just a lot of like blowouts, and people were upset about it and going back and forth. A lot of SEC fans were saying, "Oh, Bama should have been in, and Ole Miss or South Carolina," so on and so forth. So I do understand the criticism because the games just weren't great. I think everybody who loves college football and enjoys watching it wants to see really good football games, and we just didn't see that in the first round of games. I thought I thought that the format of the 12 team playoff should change before the games had even happened, because it was just a weird spot. Like when you looked at it, the way once the field was announced, you saw, like, I think it was Penn State, where you looked at it like, man, they have quite possibly the easiest draw to get to, the Final Four, and just their path is the easiest. You looked at Oregon, which they are the number one team, won their conference, hadn't lost a game, and their reward was to play the winner of Ohio State, Tennessee, which in that realm, you would look at, that's a pretty, at that point, it would have been a pretty darn good team that is, getting ready to play you after they play that first round game. So I thought the format needed changing before that. So with that being said, even with the criticism, the flip side of the criticism, and what I would like to highlight is, and I put this on Twitter, was we had, what was that, 4 teams that we had 4 games of top, call it 25 teams. Let's say top 25 teams, regardless of how you want to rank them. We had 4 games, and we had 8 top 25 ish teams playing in those games, and we had 0 opt outs.